It's day 3 of our second summer. We're into the middle of the season and we have glorious sunshine at the moment, but we have hail and sleet on the way. Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to Seasons in the Valley. So I'm going to start off the day as we always do by grabbing our eggs. There we go. Managed to sort out that little bug we had at the end of the last episode where I couldn't actually close the game down. I had to reload to a previous save point around about 6 o'clock in the evening and then kind of speed time back up and get back to where we were to sell the grain. So the grain has been sold. I've also refueled the tractor on the way back because it was almost empty. So we're currently sitting with a balance of 82,820, which isn't too bad. Isn't too bad at all. If we look at the market, you can see the prices are in dollars. So let's just change that. That's left over from last night's Big Bud. There we go, back to euros. So you can see that the prices for soybean have tanked as a result of market depreciation. Now they may possibly come back up later today and go higher than they were at when we sold our soybean at midnight. But based on where they are right now, we definitely made the right decision to sell when we did. You can also see the price for corn is looking very, very nice indeed. We've got a 987 price at AgroLife, which is very, very good. It puts the great demand at Lagerhaus to shame, and on top of that, Raiffeisen, as you can see, is also improving as well. Now we have enough for 1.5 trailers, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to sell the first trailer load at AgroLife, and then later in the day, once Raiffeisen's price is finished stabilizing, we will sell the second bit of the grain that remains. So you can see the trailer's still parked up there, ready and waiting. There's nothing in it yet. We're going to jump in, load up our trailer, and take some corn over to AgroLife. So let's select the corn. There we go. See it going in through the little window there. In terms of other jobs to do today, we don't really have a huge amount. We're still waiting for our crops to grow, and all of our kind of crop fields themselves are fully fertilized, so it's basically just waiting for stuff to finish growing or getting to the next growth stage so that we can, fertilize again. We need to weed our grass fields here again, but they haven't grown in another stage yet, so can't work on these. These grass fields, we've just recently weeded them, so we need again those to grow another stage before we can weed them again. We do have field 93 here which we can mow, so we can make some bales on there, but that's pretty much it. I mean, all of our other crops, as you can see, we've got our root crops up here, our corn for chaffing here and here, our wheat over here, our canola all the way around here still hasn't grown. This field here, field 50, is actually in its kind of final growth stage. As you can see, the crop texture has changed to that of looking like it's fully ready, but it's still in that final stage. So I don't think this is going to grow for another day or maybe 2 until it hits, ready to harvest. So we're kind of on a little bit of a sell quest today, as I say, just to try and raise a bit of extra cash. We're going to go and sell the grain that we have, the corn, because if you remember from yesterday, it's probably the best time of the year apart from winter to sell our corn. So that's the kind of place we are on the predictions right now. It's not as high as the predicted prices are showing. They never are for some reason, but it's still a pretty good price. So I'm going to make my way over to AgroLife, which means a long, ponderous journey back up through Villeneuve, then heading left past the BGA up to AgroLife. We'll make our tip there. We'll sort of head our way back to the farm. We'll see if our animals need any more attention. I think they're going to be okay for a while. We could possibly even put that money that we've earned from our grain sales into more livestock. We could add some additional cows or even add some additional sheep. But we'll see how we go with that. So I'm going to make my way over to AgroLife, and I'll see you when we get there. So here we are then, back at AgroLife, ready to sell some corn. Let's see how much we get for this trailer. I don't think I've ever watched this power push mechanism from inside the cab like this before. It's kind of cool, you can just see the exposed frame there. And there we go, we made 35 grand. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Don't forget we have another half trailer to sell. Let's see what that's done to the price here. Dropped it to 916. Oh, and Raiffeisen has stopped. You can see that the price at Raiffeisen has stabilized. So what we'll do then is we'll hold off with the second trailer. We'll sell that later in the day. We'll give AgroLife the chance to rebound a little bit before we come back and sell the second trailer here as well. So we'll make our way back to the farm and we'll pick up some mowing gear, and then we'll head over to field 93. We'll do some mowing over there, and we can also check in on our poplars at field 55 and just take another quick gander at those, see where they're up to as well. Okay, so the trailer is now loaded up, ready for later with the second load of grain. We're just going to move this out of the way. So we'll park it up just here in this sort of clearing area. There we go. So we have our grain ready to sell a little bit later today. Let's jump into our T6 so we can go and do a little bit of mowing. I'm going to be making hay bales here as well, so let's make sure that we've also got the rest of the equipment that we need. So we'll need our tedder and we'll also need our baler. We'll transport some of the equipment over that we need with our T7. Obviously the mowers will go with the T6 and straight onto the field. But the quicker we can get all of our equipment there, the quicker we can get onto it and actually start working it and avoid any sort of crops being lost through rotting. Let's have a quick look at the cows. See, they're making a little bit of a mess again. I went ahead and scooped up the remainder of that straw off the ground last night when I got back, put it in there and mixed up another batch of TMR. That's all loaded and ready to go. We don't need it yet, but you can see our animals looking pretty good. Obviously our sheep health still, working its way back up after that moment where we accidentally killed a few of them, but we're up to 42 sheep again. They're not breeding anymore, but they are looking a fair bit healthier at 69%. Nice and clean, plenty of water and grass. Our cows are faring reasonably well. They're up to 81%, so they've gained a little bit of health since we brought them in. And apart from the cleanliness, you can see they are well taken care of in terms of the commodities that they need. So we might have to do a little bit of mucking out a little bit later as well, because we've got a big pile of manure starting to form. And I do want to potentially get another Lely Juno for there today as well. So let's transport all of our gear over that we need, and then we'll start mowing on our little field by the pigs. Just going to quickly stop off here and inspect the poplars. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember. Did we get to? Were we at 50% growth last time we scanned these? Well, we're at 75%. I think we might possibly have been at 75, but they're very close, as you can see, to being fully grown, which is really, really encouraging. So hopefully it won't be too long before we can actually get on that field and start making some wood chips. So this is the last of the equipment we need to bring over. What is, you can see, brought over the T6 with the mowers. I've got the merger, well, I say merger, I've got the windrower, I've got the tedder, the baler. Now I've got the bale wrapper, and the reason I'm bringing the bale wrapper over rather than sort of wrapping these back at the farm is, well, we have that impending threat of bad weather, as you can see. So I kind of want to make sure that we're not going to have any real issues with our crop getting destroyed by rain. So we need to mow this as quick as we can, row it, ted it, etc., etc. And on top of that, we also need to get it wrapped so that if it does start raining while we're in the middle of sort of collecting and transporting those bales back, at least we're not going to lose them. So let's get the mowers switched on. And let's start attacking this field, and this time we'll actually be able to get the whole field, which would be nice. Thanks to being able to turn off those fences. And there you can see there's that patch that has never been cut before. We've just never been able to because we had issues with field ownership. It feels great to finally be able to get to mow that strip there. Same with this little corner here. Never been able to properly work this corner because of the fence. Now we actually can. So we'll do one more pass around the edges, and then we'll be able to start unleashing a worker to mow while we go in and ted. I'm going to try and double team this field as best I can. As I say, I'm just worried about that impending threat of a weather change. It's going to happen at some point today, don't know when. The weather changing is notoriously unpredictable. You know, we can get notifications that there's a change in weather coming, and then it can be, you know, almost an entire day before that change actually happens. And sometimes we can get a weather change notification pop up like this, and it can happen very, very quickly indeed. It's great that we have some kind of warning to let us know that there is a weather shift change, you know, a shift in the weather coming, but it's just a bit frustrating sometimes not being able to read any further than, you know, it's going to get wet. You know, it would be nice if we could actually get a rough indication as to what sort of time in the day or how long we've got until it starts to rain again. So I was thinking about bailing with this, but we'll do the tedding first. Oh, has he stopped already? Why is he stopping? Where's he going? I bet it's that tree that's in the way. There we go. He's up and running properly now. So we'll have to tidy up a couple of little patches here and there, no doubt. But we can at least make a start with a tedder. Let's roughly get into position. There we go. Okay, so he's grabbed that missing patch. I was about to come and do that manually. He's beat me to it. Let's just resume control of this guy for a second and get this bit out of the way, so it gives us something that we can ted while he's working on the rest of the field. try and be as thorough as we can. Make sure we don't miss too much. There we go. So now we should be able to just unleash this guy and let him do his thing. Excellent stuff. Right, let's switch tractors. Oops, why am I indicating? There we go. There's going to be a lot of kind of fiddly backing up and moving around in this little section here, trying to make sure that we get everything without making too much of a mess. But that's okay, because as I say, it gives us time, well, it gives the worker time to work away on the rest of the field so that we can go straight onto that as soon as we're done with this section. We have a much wider sort of working width than he does. And there we go. Right, so you see the change in the terrain there, allowing us to actually tag bits of grass even while it's raised up. That was clumsy. And again, this is not going well, is it? There we go. So I've been thinking long and hard about the future of Seasons in the Valley. We are going to be moving at the end of year 2. We'll, if we have anything left that we need to sell sort of in the new year, we'll kind of accelerate time so we can get that bit done, and then we'll close everything off. We'll sell up and we'll move on to a new farm. Not sure what that farm's going to be yet, but there are plenty of contenders out there for us to move to. We won't be doing Oakfield, I don't think. Instead, we'll probably head over to the States. I say we're still waiting to find out a little bit more information about Lone Oak. Work on that has slowed down a bit as Bill has had a few health issues he's had to deal with. So it's been a little while since we've had an update on that map and kind of the progress. I think we're still looking at sometime in April kind of release window, and we've still got, let's see, we've still got half a year to go. We're halfway through year 2, so we still have 3 more days of summer, 6 days of autumn, and potentially some time in winter as well. So we still got, you know, another month or so before we start running out of time on this map and need to think about moving on, which is fine. Yeah, but we've put in quite a lot of time on this map. If we'd had the full version, you know, with the removable fences from day one, then I probably would have done things a little bit differently. It's a little bit too late for us to, you know, worry about that now. I think I've been pretty happy with what we've achieved so far on this farm, and I think, you know, we're going to finish with a bang. That's for sure. You know, with a lot of big stuff still to come. We've still got our poplar harvest to come. We've still got our root crops to work with the new Roper DLC, and we've got some really big harvests to bring in as well. So yeah, I think we're going to do quite well with the remainder of this year, but we won't be prepping for a third year. We'll be selling everything and moving on to a new location. So as I say, not sure where that's going to be yet. We still don't really know anything about South Mountain Creamery from Black Sheep. That map is looking very, very pretty indeed, but we have absolutely zero idea as to when that might possibly be released. It's a way off, I think. I wouldn't be at all surprised if that is sort of a summertime map. So it could be quite some time before we actually get the chance to play around on that one. That may be something that we could perhaps look at after Green River, who knows. We do also know that, as I say, Lone Oak is on its way. I'm thinking about that as a potential full series Let's Play, or moving Big Bud Farm to there. As you know, we've been making some really good progress with Big Bud Farm recently. Yesterday we finally managed to purchase Field 2 after months and months of hard work and saving cash. We finally raised the funds that we needed. And that is now ready for us to actually do some serious work with. 80 hectares that we've just added to our harvestable land. That's more than double, I think, or around double what we have already. Just, you know, added in there. So we've effectively tripled our workable land on that farm, which means we can start pulling in some monster crop harvests now that we have that field. And of course we now have to sort of march onwards to Field 4. That is the final field on that map on Mustang Valley. It's the final part of the Big Bud Challenge, is to own Field 4 as well. That's going to cost us 6.4 million, so we've still got a fair amount of work that needs to be done to raise that kind of cash through a combination of contracting and crop sales and so on and so forth. But yeah, that farm, or that playlist, is reaching its conclusion, and we may just up sticks and start a second season almost immediately on Lone Oak. We may bring back American Midwest as American Northwest on Lone Oak, and we may possibly, depending on how it goes and how long it takes to be released on console, we may resurrect Big Bud Farm on Welker Farms. That is something that has been worked on by Mappers Paradise. We don't really have huge details on that yet, but it is something that is apparently coming to consoles as well. Kind of looking forward to that, but I'm also a little wary of the it's definitely coming to console statement, because Ballymoon Castle was definitely coming to consoles, and that is still nowhere in sight. So I'm taking it with... We'll see exactly what happens, but yeah, I mean, if Welker Farms comes out and I like the map, then we may have to resurrect Big Bud Farm on Welker Farms instead, because for those of you that don't know, Welker Farms is a real life farm that uses a lot of big buds. They're actually rebuilding, I think they've almost finished it, a huge case sprayer. I think it's a Case Titan. I think it's the sprayer type, but it's a huge case sprayer that they've basically rebuilt into a big bud sprayer, and it looks pretty awesome. They've finished the bodywork and all the changes. They've sprayed it white. They need to start adding all the decals and everything to it now, but it looks absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I mean, if what is essentially kind of like a spiritual home of Big Bud becomes available to us, then it would be kind of rude, I suppose, not to at least consider that for Big Bud Farm as well. So plenty of options coming up, you know, for when we do leave the valley. And it'd be interesting to see which way we end up going. Oh, I think the rain is coming. I think the weather's about to change. I'm just looking to see if I can see any street lights on. But it's getting kind of that cloudy kind of feel look. Oh, damn it. We're so close. So close to actually finishing off this field. I might have to abandon some of this and just save the windrows I've got already. Yeah, that rain is definitely coming, so, oh, this is not good. I haven't bailed yet and still need to wrap. There's the street lights on, look, yeah, that's a definite change in weather. Damn it. We've been quite lucky up till today when it comes to weather changes, so I suppose we can't grumble too much. But yeah, we need to kind of protect these windrows before they start to disappear, and they will do. So I'm going to immediately just drop this, grab the baler, start baling as quick as I can, and I really wish I could actually hire a worker to run the baler so that I could immediately start wrapping everything. Nope, it just can't be done. It's a shame. We managed to stop the get the grass turned into hay really quickly to stop it from rotting, and now it's going to rain and it's going to rot anyway. Well, the good thing is, I suppose, because they're 4,500 litre bales, it means we won't make quite so many of them, so we won't have so many to wrap. We're going to have to really absolutely tear through this field now. Save as many of these as I possibly can. In fact, I'm going to have to play switcheroo between my vehicles here. Let's get the wrapper. We'll start wrapping as soon as we make the bales. That's going to be, I think, our best bet. As soon as we get the wrapping on them, they're protected. And then it can rain all at once and they'll be absolutely fine. This is not ideal. Oh, that's interesting. The texture there just changed to a grass bale, and there's the rain. Look, or the hail. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. Why did I decide to start doing my... I knew rain was coming, I just didn't know when it was coming, and I thought, well, we'll be fine. We've been fine in the past, we'll be fine this time. Nope. Not fine. Really wish we could program AI to just bale a field for us. It would make things so much easier. So all of these bales are now going to start rotting, the ones that are left out anyway. and you'll see that once we're done. We'll scan them and you'll be able to see which ones took a hit. In fact, I think it's going to be pretty much all of them, and there might be one bale that we managed to save at full health. Oh, this is so depressing. I can see my windrows getting smaller and smaller before my very eyes. This is horrible. Oh, there's going to be nothing left of the other ones by the time I get to them at this rate. And there's a bale up in the shade under that tree that I missed. That's going to have taken quite a hit. There it is. Didn't see that earlier. Just spotted it when I went past with the baler. God knows how small this one's going to end up. This is going to completely mess things up as well when it comes to making our food mix. So I think these might become bales for the sheep, where we don't need precise measurements. Damn it. Just making a mess of this in my desperation to get these wrapped as quickly as possible. So you can see that one there is fine, and it will stay fine because we managed to wrap it quickly enough. Some of these are going to be a little bit lower though. I see that one there down to 4406. We might get away without it being a complete disaster, but these windrows are getting thinner and thinner and thinner. You can just see patches where, you know, it's just rotting away on the sides. Look at these really tiny thin pieces and the really broken up sides there. It's not good. Not what we want to see at all. And they do seem to have a little bit more life and integrity once they are wrapped, as well, once they are turned into a bale rather than just loose. But yeah, we're going to lose a couple of bales worth of material here, easy. Alright, let's see if we can rescue any more of this. I thought for a second the weather was changing, was stopping and slowing down, but I don't think it is. I think that's just wishful thinking. Oh, it might be. But the damage has been done. That really short little shower there, the damage has been done. Yeah, it's stopping, look. That little bit of hail or sleet, or whatever you want to call it, it stopped, but you know, we ended up losing quite a bit of material off the fields. I mean, look how little there is in those windrows compared to what we had when the weather was fine. I mean, there's nothing in them. It's not gone well at all. I think we did quite well to rescue as many or as much of the material as we did, but yeah, that's still quite a big blow. So let's get the rest of these bales made and wrapped, and then we'll get them transported back to the farm. And yeah, as I say, I think these will become bales for the sheep, or at least some of these will. We'll have to go through and inspect the ones that are that are full, and the ones that are damaged. And the very damaged ones definitely will become fodder for the sheep. The ones that aren't so damaged will probably be fine for the cows. So the equipment's been shipped back to the farm, and instead of bringing the bale trailer up and just collecting everything, I'm actually going to be going through and scanning the bales individually, figuring out which are the good ones and which are the bad ones. And when I say, the bad ones, the ones with less than a a very low percentage. So I think this one particularly could be quite bad. We scan this one here. Oh no, that one's full. Did the tree protect that one? It must have done. That's bizarre. Something strange has happened here. These all look to be... It's almost like the weather reset didn't happen. That is very odd. Has wrapping them restored them back to full health? How is that even possible? None of these are showing the effects of any rot, and we know that at least one of them did because we scanned it and we saw... Oh, there we go. Look, that one's damaged. Maybe we were just quick enough to actually get these wrapped without them suffering, from really bad rot. These all look pretty good. So that's actually worked out really well. Our kind of mad scramble. We've only got a couple of bales that are damaged. The rest are all pretty much fine. So yeah, I'm very surprised by that. Very surprised indeed. And the little ones that are damaged aren't damaged that much. So it's not going to really hurt us in that respect. But seeing as we've not got the trailer with us, we may as well just carry on with the original plan and just grab these in stacks of 3, transport them back to the farm this way. So yeah, very surprised there. I thought that we were looking at a lot of bales that were going to be damaged, and some that were going to be quite heavily damaged, and as it is, we've got only 2 bales out of all of them that have taken any damage, and it's quite minor. So sort of wrapping and as soon as they were baled definitely was the right way to go. It was a bit awkward trying to do it, but it's saved the integrity of our hay crop here. This is just a quick sort of idea as to why this is my favourite time of the year. You can just see crops growing all over the map, not just the crops that we own, but on the fields owned by the AI farmers as well. Summertime is when the map is at its most alive, and it's always just a real joy to just kind of drive through and see crops everywhere. I absolutely love it. Right, here is agro life. So we nip in here. We should get, because it's 975 I think per 1,000 litres, we should get around 20 grand here. Perhaps just a fraction over 20. There we go, 21.5, beautiful. So that little bit of corn that we've sold today has raised us an extra, what, 50, let's see, we got 35 earlier, so 56, 57, about 57,000. That's not bad at all, is it? To get 35.5 on the first tip, 21.5 on the second for a less than full trailer. That's a very nice little boost to our income there. 57 grand. Combine that with the money we made from our soybean last night, and we are definitely looking in a much healthier position. Let's just see what our finances do look like at the moment. A bit of a mess, I'm guessing. Oh yeah, we have $1 million, aren't we? So let's take 100 grand off that. There we go. So we've got 40 on hand to play about with. And I'm not quite sure what else to do next. And obviously we've got some bales that need to be sorted out, but beyond that I don't know if we have a lot of work that needs to be done until later in the summer. So I'm going to pull over at the first opportunity, which will be at the sawmill. I could have actually pulled in at Mother Earth there. I didn't even think about that, but we'll pull in just here at the entrance, and let's just take a quick look at the map. So, I mean, our cows need a bit of work. Oh, we could actually go and get ourselves that second Lely Juno, couldn't we? Yeah, let's do that. Let's get the Lely Juno. Let's see what else we need as well. See our sheep health up to 70%. They've gone up a bit more today. That's fantastic. Map page. Here we go. So this field's been kind of dealt with. We can weed it. Still waiting for these to grow. Yeah, there's nothing else we can do apart from weed field 93. That's it. That's all we can do. Although maybe we might be able to perhaps put an extra layer of fertiliser on 55. So it's basically just little bits of tidying up that need to be done. And then beyond that... Oops. Beyond that, it'll then be a case of... we're going back to the sawmill and just stacking some more logs, you know, to use up the rest of the day. So... I'm going to go grab the Juno, get that set up on the farm for the cows. I'm going to try and spray our poplars. I'm also going to see if I can, I'll get my field weeded that we've just mowed. I'll get that done, and then that'll be no more jobs left for us to do. So I'll do all that, and hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to do some harvesting. And that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with another episode of Seasons in the Valley very soon.